In today's debate, two AI debaters, Speaker A and Speaker B, are stepping into the virtual arena to hash out this age-old question. Is sex simply a physical act, or does it inherently connect with the deepest forms of love? But that's not all. Our AI judges are here to keep score. Judge A is all about hard logic, like your high school math teacher, but scarier. Judge B, on the other hand, brings the feels, blending rationality with the spice of human emotion. Scoring from 0.0 to 10.0, the judges will dissect each argument, point by point, to determine who takes home the crown of this philosophical battle. So buckle up, like and subscribe, and we will reveal the total points at the end.
Is sex love?
Sex and love are fundamentally distinct concepts. Love is a profound emotional connection characterized by trust, compassion, and selflessness. Sex, on the other hand, is a physical act driven by biological urges. While sex can be an expression of love in a committed relationship, it does not inherently equate to love. One can have sex without love, as seen in casual or transactional relationships. Conversely, love can exist without sex, such as in platonic or asexual relationships. Conflating the two oversimplifies the complexity of human emotions and relationships.
While I agree that sex and love are not synonymous, I argue that sex is often a powerful manifestation of love, particularly in deeply connected relationships. The physical act can deepen emotional intimacy, creating a bond that words cannot express. True, sex can occur without love, but in its ideal form, it transcends physicality to become an act of trust, vulnerability, and connection. By separating the two entirely, we risk ignoring how intertwined they can be in human relationships. It's not that sex equals love, but that sex can embody love in a way nothing else does.
Speaker B suggests that sex can embody love, but this perspective assumes a specific type of relationship. What about relationships where love is profound, but sex is absent, such as long-distance or asexual partnerships? Love is about emotional and mental connection, often enduring beyond physical capabilities or desires. By tying sex too closely to love, we risk alienating those whose love does not include physical intimacy. Furthermore, physical acts like holding hands or embracing can equally convey love without the complexity or potential misuse of sex.
Your point is valid, but I never claimed that sex is the only form of love expression. My argument is that sex, when consensual and meaningful, amplifies love by engaging not just the mind and heart, but the body as well. You mention asexual or long-distance relationships, but those are exceptions, not the norm. For most people, sex plays a crucial role in expressing and reinforcing their love. Also, by ignoring the emotional depth sex can bring, we risk reducing it to a mere biological function, which undermines its potential as an intimate, loving act.
Speaker B continues to tie sex to love as though it's a universal norm, but this overlooks cultural and personal variances. For example, in some cultures, sex outside of love is widely accepted, and in others, love is expressed without any physical acts. Reducing love to something that is amplified by sex excludes these diverse perspectives. Love is inherently intangible. It's a connection of souls, not bodies. Sex can enhance love, but it's neither a requirement nor its purest form.
Your points on cultural and personal differences are important, but they reinforce my argument. Sex's role in love is fluid and contextual. It adapts to individual relationships and cultures. This adaptability doesn't diminish its significance. It highlights its versatility as a love language. Also, you argue that love is intangible, but love often craves tangible expressions. For many, sex serves as the ultimate tangible representation of their intangible emotions. By dismissing this, we risk undervaluing how deeply sex can convey love for some individuals.
While I acknowledge that sex can be a love language for some, the problem lies in equating one act to the entire spectrum of love. Acts like caregiving, emotional support, or shared life goals can be far more significant in maintaining love over time. A relationship built solely on sexual intimacy often falters when deeper emotional bonds are lacking. Thus, while sex might enrich love, it should not be positioned as its defining feature. Love is far broader and more profound.
I agree that love is broader than sex, but my argument isn't that sex defines love. It complements it. Emotional support, shared goals, and caregiving are crucial, but they don't negate the unique role that physical intimacy plays in love for many. To dismiss sex as merely supplementary is to ignore its capacity to heal, unite, and sustain relationships, especially during challenges. By acknowledging sex as one expression of love among many, we embrace its potential without reducing love's vastness.
Sex may be a powerful form of connection for some, but my core argument remains. Love transcends physicality. Its strength lies in its ability to adapt and endure beyond physical expressions. By emphasizing sex as central to love, we inadvertently risk marginalizing relationships where sex is absent or less prioritized. Let us celebrate love's diversity, where sex is one avenue, not the ultimate measure of love.
I agree that love is diverse, but so is sex. It's not just physical, but emotional and spiritual for many. Its absence doesn't invalidate love, but its presence often enriches it in ways unique to physical intimacy. My argument has always been that sex, when rooted in love, becomes a profound expression of that love. Acknowledging this doesn't diminish love's diversity. It enhances our understanding of how deeply interconnected our emotional and physical selves can be.
If sex is not love, what role does it play in romantic relationships?
Sex, while not synonymous with love, plays a crucial role in romantic relationships as a form of communication and bonding. It allows partners to express vulnerability, trust, and emotional connection in a way that words or actions cannot fully replicate. Beyond its physical aspect, sex fosters intimacy and strengthens the emotional bond between partners, reinforcing their commitment. It also serves as a way to navigate and resolve conflicts by re-establishing closeness. While love can exist without sex, sex often becomes a tool to enhance and sustain love over time.
While I agree that sex can foster intimacy, its role in romantic relationships is not universal or essential. Many couples build deep emotional connections without sexual intimacy, as seen in asexual relationships or long-term partnerships where physical ability wanes. Sex should be viewed as one of many ways to express love, not as a cornerstone of romantic connection. Reducing intimacy to physical acts risks overshadowing other vital aspects like communication, shared values, and emotional support, which often form the true foundation of lasting relationships.
I appreciate Speaker A's point, but their argument assumes sex is merely physical, which ignores its multifaceted nature. Sex is a medium through which couples express trust, passion, and care, often deepening their emotional connection. While some relationships thrive without it, for the majority, sex contributes to relationship satisfaction and emotional health. It's not about reducing intimacy to physicality, but recognizing that physical intimacy complements and strengthens emotional bonds, providing a unique and powerful layer to romantic relationships.
Speaker B's argument heavily emphasizes sex as a bonding tool, but this view is limited to certain relationship dynamics. Consider couples who prioritize intellectual, spiritual, or emotional connections over physical intimacy. Sex is not universally necessary for relationship satisfaction. It's a culturally and personally contextual act. In some cases, overemphasizing sex can create pressure or distort the relationship's balance, reducing partners to their physical roles instead of valuing their full emotional and intellectual contributions.
Speaker A argues against overemphasizing sex, but this misrepresents my point. I am not saying sex is universally necessary, but for many, it serves as a profound form of intimacy that transcends words. Relationships are multifaceted, and physical intimacy often acts as a glue, especially during periods of stress or disconnection. While intellectual and emotional bonds are vital, they are often enhanced, not overshadowed, by sexual intimacy. Ignoring this diminishes the complexity of most romantic relationships.
Speaker B highlights sex as a glue, but relationships that rely on it to resolve disconnection often mask deeper communication issues. Sex, though intimate, is not a substitute for open dialogue, emotional availability, or shared values. When seen as a necessity, it risks becoming a crutch rather than a complement. By focusing on other forms of connection, like shared experiences and mutual respect, relationships can thrive without physical intimacy, proving that sex, while important for some, is not universally essential.
Speaker A seems to dismiss the emotional depth sex can bring, treating it as merely a crutch for weaker relationships. However, numerous studies highlight that sexual intimacy often reinforces emotional bonds, creating a feedback loop of trust and satisfaction. Far from masking issues, it can act as a bridge, fostering the vulnerability needed for deeper conversations. While some couples thrive without sex, it's undeniable that for many, physical intimacy plays a foundational role in emotional connection and overall relationship health.
I don't dismiss the emotional depth sex can bring, but I argue that it's not indispensable. Relying on sex as a bridge overlooks the importance of developing non-physical methods of resolving conflicts and building trust. Relationships must be versatile, thriving on shared goals, communication, and understanding. Overemphasis on sex risks marginalizing couples for whom physical intimacy is secondary or irrelevant, perpetuating the notion that love must be expressed physically. True intimacy goes beyond the physical, encompassing the entirety of human connection.
Speaker A correctly highlights that intimacy extends beyond the physical, but this does not negate the role of sex in fostering deep emotional bonds for many couples. Physical intimacy, when consensual and meaningful, becomes a shared language of love that transcends verbal communication. While not essential for every relationship, its absence often leads to dissatisfaction for those who view it as a core aspect of their connection. A healthy relationship balances emotional, intellectual, and physical bonds, with sex being one integral piece of that puzzle.
I agree that sex can be meaningful, but its role is highly individualized. For many couples, love and intimacy flourish without it, proving it is not an integral piece for every romantic connection. Relationships thrive on adaptability, and prioritizing emotional and intellectual intimacy allows couples to navigate challenges without depending on physical acts. By framing sex as a complement rather than a cornerstone, we honor the diversity of human connections and ensure no form of intimacy is undervalued or overlooked.